Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options and Play video update. It's been a crazy week. It's only 4 day week with Monday's holiday, but man, it's been wild. And we've had some big earnings, but I mean, almost like a little bit of like a sideshow to all of like the meme momentum names, right? So as we come into like the middle of June, earnings scheduled earnings really slow down a lot. I mean, kind of like a little bit of a lull as we start to like look forward to like July and the earnings season getting going again. But a couple big names, and interestingly, Wednesday's GameStop. Right, so I mean that could add fuel to the fire for all those. So I'm definitely expecting like a busy week, even though there aren't like a ton of names scheduled. All right. So before the open on Monday, there's nothing. Monday after the close, Coupa about 19 or 20 or so is kind of what they're looking for. Software action, it's been a little bit more mixed this quarter, but I mean some of like the software names had a pretty nice day today, but it's been a little bit less consistent. The numbers though for these companies, I feel like for the most part have been solid. Coupa has been out of play for a while, and actually doesn't really look that great going into earnings. I mean, I do imagine numbers are solid, but I guess I'm just not sure I see a great play on it here, especially not with like options priced around $20. So I think I'm gonna leave it alone. Marvell, about 275 or so is what they're looking for. We've traded this a bunch over the past year, and I mean I think it hangs around really well, all things considered. Historically, though, it's not as volatile on earnings, and I guess when you couple that with the way a lot of the semis have played out this quarter, there may be a chance to revisit a trade on this post earnings with better option prices. Um, I feel like I favor the bull side, but I also think that I might be able to get like a better entrance opportunity after the report, so I might wait it out. Stitch Fix. So about 9.5 points is what's priced in here. The pricing's high, so I mean for a $55 stock, they're priced at 9.5. So you can just tell already that the option pricing's high. But it's also because they had a huge move last quarter, so that was back here. Actually, the last 2 quarters, it's had huge moves. So I mean, it does seem like a setup where it should have a sizable swing. There's still a huge gap above. There's plenty of room lower. But at like 9.5 points, I mean, it's really going to have a huge move just to meet what's expected, right? So, I mean, if it's possible to get risk down a bunch, then maybe this is something I look at. But I mean, I'd really have to get those prices down because 9.5 to maybe like 10 points. I mean, that's really elevated. For the open on Tuesday, Momo. So Chinese tech name, priced in about $1.25. I haven't traded this much in the past, and it's been a little bit quieter lately. So, I mean, maybe you could say that means it's due for a move. I mean, the performance on Chinese tech companies and earnings, though, recently has been kind of lackluster. Um, so, I guess if I did do anything, it might actually revolve around a bearish strategy, just because it looks a little bit more bearish to me right now. After the bell on Tuesday, really nothing of interest. Before the open on Wednesday, just a couple. I mean, and to be honest, they're not really names I trade very often. Lovesac, pricing about 12.5 points. There's a monthly options. This is a strong trending stock. It's been grinding higher for months. And I usually approach trending stock trades on earnings with expectations of lower volatility. All right, so it's not just Lovesac. That's like trending trades in general. So for a pattern like this, I think I'd be thinking like flies, longer dated options, right? Something to smooth out the higher near term implied volatility, kind of in favor of like a longer term continuation of the trend. UNFI, another one, about 7 points. Those are monthly options too. Kind of a similar pattern, but actually it seems a little bit more explosive, possibly. It was a squeeze candidate back in January. It's actually held in really well. Coming off a beat and raise, act strong. Option pricing, they're high, but seems like a good print. Maybe starts like another leg up, right? If it can break above 41, 42. I don't know if I'm going to play it, but it does seem like a decent pattern. Okay. After the close on Wednesday, GameStop. I mean, and everybody's going to be talking about this one way or the other. They're priced in about 60 points, and I mean, it's hard just to say whether earnings are relevant or even matter at this point right now. But I mean, I still think they can move the stock. It was hit really hard on its March report, but I mean, it's come back. Sentiment's a lot different right now. I mean, at 60 points, options definitely aren't giving any deals, but maybe if the premiums drop the next couple days, if the stock doesn't go crazy Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday during the day, then option prices come down. Maybe it's a decent volatility strategy candidate, but I mean, I'd almost think it'd have to drop into like the 30 to 35 point range to seem kind of manageable, because that's kind of more in line with what it's been doing on a. I mean, when it moves like 30 to 35 seems to be about the top of what it typically does. So I mean, the option prices have to drop quite a bit for me to want to jump in, I think. RH about 60 points too. They're looking for. I probably won't play this on earnings, but I'll definitely be watching it after, because it hasn't had huge gaps the past couple quarters on earnings. So, it's like I'm a little bit more reluctant to lay out the money. But, I mean, last quarter it didn't have a huge gap, but then it had like a really fantastic continuation like the next few days and the next few weeks. So, um, like that's one that I'm definitely going to want to focus on for a possible swing trade right after earnings come out. Thursday before the open, Signet. So about 7.5 points, what they're looking for this retailer. Typically a pretty volatile name actually, and it's been quiet for a few months. Seems like a solid setup for a volatility strategy. Um, but I guess probably would like to get the premiums down a little bit on both sides, just to get a little bit of a better like risk reward. I think. I mean, because 7.5 points, I mean, also pretty elevated. Um, but decent consolidation, decent history of moving. And I feel like it might be something you look at, see how the week goes, but maybe just look at something on Thursday for earnings play. After the close on Thursday, Chewy's. So about 7 points is what they're pricing in here. Since it's come public, it has not rewarded option players in earnings. Actually, it looked like it was going to last quarter, but then it rolled over, so it didn't end up doing it. It has a very consistent history of smaller moves on earnings. So I don't really want to touch it for the actual report, but it could be one that maybe sees some buying ahead of time, because it gets a lot of interest from traders. It had a really good quarter back in April. Stock has been beat up a bit off its high, so maybe you see a little bit of a rally ahead of the time into earnings. But I don't think I really want to take options into the print. And then lastly on Thursday, Dave & Buster's. So about 4.25. That's what they're looking for. I mean, it's definitely a reopen play. I get that, but I just haven't had a whole lot of success trading it in a while. It's been so steady and slow. I mean, it lately it's just been flatlining above 40. So it's probably not going to be a focus for me on earnings. But post earnings, after the numbers come out, maybe if the management's a little bit more upbeat with their commentary, help the stock kind of turn the corner and start getting going again. Maybe look at a swing trade, but in terms of earnings, I don't think I'm going to do anything with it. And then Friday before the open, nothing scheduled. So that's it. So you can see a few big names. I mean, a couple that are expected to move quite a bit. So I don't think we're going to lack for action, especially after the way this past week played out. I feel like it should be another busy week. So let's just hope for some good trading, all right? So if you like this video and you're looking for more information on trading earnings with options or swing trading with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options and play. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay well, and I will talk.